Right, so we're looking at sliding filament theory here, which is basically the biochemistry side of muscular contraction. What you're looking at here is inside a muscle cell. So as you know, your muscles are made up of fibers. Some of those fibers are very thin and others are thick. Now the thin fibers are called actin filaments, okay? So made up of a protein called actin. The thicker fibers or thicker filaments are made up of a protein called myosin. So there's really 4 proteins that we're concerned with: actin, myosin, troponin and tropomyosin. So I'm just going to draw a circle around this diagram, and this is supposed to represent the cell membrane, so muscle cell membrane. And just like any other membranes of a cell, it allows substances and gases to diffuse in and out. Allows substances and gases to diffuse in and out of the cell. In and out of cell. Now every cell usually contains a jelly-like substance called plasma, which means that it's mainly made of water, and the type of plasma that is contained within a muscle cell is called sarcoplasm. Sarcoplasm. So jelly-like substance holds everything inside the cell, mainly made out of water. So there's our actin filament or thin filament, there's your myosin filament or thick filament. Then we have these things here called myosin cross bridges, and we have a myosin head and we have a myosin tail, and those together make up a myosin cross bridge. On the actin filament, you'll see that you have these other 2 proteins dotted along called troponin and tropomyosin. Then we have these things here called binding sites, okay? And essentially what happens when you want to kick a ball, your brain has a thought. That thought then ends up as a nerve impulse or a message that leaves the brain, goes down the spinal cord to the muscles that are going to contract. And as soon as that message is received, calcium ions are released into the muscle cell. Calcium ions, okay, and they're going into the muscle cell. And this is where sliding filament theory, Donegal style, comes into play. Called Donegal style because I'm from Donegal, and I have taken my son's toy car here because this car represents Mr. Calcium. He's Little Boy Racer. So we were talking about the message or nerve impulse being received by the muscle cell. As soon as that message is received by the muscles that need to contract, Mr. Calcium, aka Little Boy Racer, drives into the muscle cell. But he wants to take his 2 buddies, troponin and tropomyosin, or as I call them, the 2 T's, away lapping around the town. So Mr. Calcium picks up troponin. He then goes to the house of tropomyosin, picks him up, and the 3 of them are away lapping around the town. Now because troponin and tropomyosin are no longer on this actin filament, these binding sites become magnetic, so they're a bit like magnetic car park spaces. So what they attract up to the actin filament are these myosin cross bridges. So my pen represents the myosin cross bridge. So the myosin cross bridge connects up, and then it disconnects, and then further up the actin filament does the same thing again, connects up, disconnects. Now every time the myosin cross bridge connects, it uses energy in the form of ATP. So you know the way a car uses petrol, well the human body uses ATP as its source of energy. Now every time the cross bridge connects up, it uses energy in the form of ATP, and then when it disconnects, it breaks down the ATP molecule into ADP plus PA. So essentially you have adenosine triphosphate is broken down into adenosine diphosphate, and then you have this 3rd phosphate on its own. And when that chemical reaction happens where you break down ATP into ADP plus PA, that energy that's released is used to make the muscle contract. Now when you've kicked the ball, obviously your brain registers that and it doesn't want you to stand there, keep kicking the ball. So another message or nerve impulse leaves the brain, it goes down the spinal cord to the muscles. This time it tells the calcium ions to leave the muscle cell, which in another way it's a bit like Little Boy Racer's mommy telling him, look, it's 12 o'clock, you need to come home. So what he has to do, first of all, before he goes home, is he has to drop off the 2 T's, tropomyosin and troponin, and they reattach on the actin filament, and then he drives out of the muscle cell because he's away home to his mammy. So if little boy racer or Mr. Calcium isn't in the muscle cell, the muscle can't contract. And that is sliding filament theory.